Hi there. I'm Jenny Ivester. I work here in student ministries at Good Shepherd, and I get to talk to you today on the devotion. I'm talking to you today about something that's a little convicting for me. It's about zeal. And so I want to start off with a story that happened this morning. At my house, my daughter Lucy got up just to make herself breakfast, and she was making herself a piece of toast. And she sat down with her toast and took a bite of it. And for whatever reason this morning, it was the crunchiest piece of toast that there has ever been on the face of the planet. And when she took a bite of that, everyone in our family, we all just turned and looked at her with like death laser beams coming out of our eyes. And then we all saw one another look at her like that, and we just started dying laughing. And I think normally her crunchy toast probably wouldn't bug us, but now that we're 2 months in on quarantine, I think it's having its effect on us. And that's kind of where I want to go with this whole zeal thing. It's I know for me, I'm just naturally a passionate person, and my zeal can be really good or it can be really off. And that's when I'm looking at what's going on during quarantine. I'm seeing a lot of zeal that might be kind of misguided zeal. We see in the Bible when Peter is the soldiers are coming to arrest Jesus, and he lunges out at them and cuts off one of the soldiers' ears. And then Jesus is kind of like, no, Peter, like, calm down. Like, I got this. And, heals the guy and just tells Peter to back up. Peter was doing something. He had a lot of zeal, but he didn't have the knowledge of God. He didn't have the knowledge of what was going on. And in Romans 10, there's a verse that says, sorry, I'm reloading my Bible verse right now. There we go. For I bear them witness that they have a zeal for God, but not according to knowledge. And I think that's something that we can do dependent upon our passions, and especially with quarantine where everything's at right now. I'm seeing a whole lot of zeal coming out of everyone, dependent on what you believe, whether you think what the most safe is or if that even matters. Who should go back to work, who shouldn't go back to work, what the government should have control over, what they shouldn't have control over. And there's a whole lot of opinions and thoughts and zeal and misguided zeal popping up all over on social media, or just with people talking to one another on the news, or all over the place. But for me, I have to ask, like, God, what do you have for me and my zeal? And what do I need to keep in check? And I was studying in Titus 3, and I thought this was just really good on how to live, and I really appreciated how it applied to what's going on. It says, remind them to be submissive to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, and to be ready for every good work, to speak evil of no one, to avoid quarreling, to be gentle, and to show perfect courtesy toward all people. For we ourselves were once foolish, disobedient, led astray, slaves to various passions and pleasures, passing our days in malice and envy, hated by others and hating one another. And then skip down to 8, it says, the saying is trustworthy, and I want you to insist on these things, so that those who have believed in God may be careful to devote themselves to good works. These things are excellent and profitable for people, but avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, dissensions, and quarrels about the law, for they are unprofitable and worthless. And I can tell you that I've been seeing a lot of quarreling over the law, not the old law, but today's law. A lot of dissension, a lot of disunity, and I know that that's not what God has for us. Another thing that I read was from a pastor named Adrian Rogers. And this one was really, I think it helped me a lot, and it was challenging as well. It said there's a zeal that is divisive and destructive and deadly. It divides homes and churches. This misguided zeal finds an error and perpetuates it, or a principle and takes it to an extreme. Principles are like tools. You can use a hammer to build a house, or you can beat someone to death with it. Anything taken to an extreme can become a bad thing, and the cause of Christ has been deeply hurt by extremists with their misguided zeal. Very frankly, some of our Christian causes are lost because of the extremism of those fighting for that cause. And I think the fact that people could be hurt, that the cause of Christ could be deeply hurt by our misguided zeal, that should really worry us. We should all be convicted about that. And not only because it's going to hurt other people and how they see us, but that it's going to hurt us and our unity. So I have just a couple passages that God, I just think are really good for how we should be living with one another. And with all of this stuff being so stressful and all of us having these passions kind of flying out of us because of the passion, it's like, what areas is that piece of crunchy French toast, whatever it may be, causing you to stare at someone or say something with like death laser beams? And what part do you need to check yourself and say, hey, calm down. Like, this is misguided because of how stressed we are from quarantine and with all that's going on. So to kind of keep our mind right, in 1 Peter 3:8, it says, finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, and a humble mind. And in 2 Corinthians 13:11, it says, finally, brothers, rejoice, aim for restoration, comfort one another, agree with one another, live in peace, and the God of love and peace will be with you. And I think we all need comfort from one another. We all need to be living in peace, and we all want the God of love and peace to be with us. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that for all of you, we just all really take the time to think about what God has for us through this, and that as our zeal and passions come up, we really check ourselves to see if we are coming at someone and they're going to feel like we're just beating them down, or if we're coming to them to try and build something for God's glory with them. Thank you. Have a good day.